Hello everyone! Today we're going to take a look at how to make a tiny pop-up art museum. We've been working on the tiny art show and I took an old lesson and we're just adapting it a little bit to create a pop-up museum. So if you think this is familiar, you might have seen the pop-up chair lesson, which shows how you can create this folding pop-up action chair. This one was for a Vincent van Gogh lesson, and we're kind of adopting that same idea to create a tiny art museum. So I'm going to teach you how to create the pop-ups. The pop-ups in the art museum are not going to be chairs. They're going to be pedestals to put three-dimensional art, or they might be a bench for people who are going to the museum to sit on. So to begin, you need a piece of paper folded halfway. The thicker the paper, the better. If you have cardstock, that's perfect. We're just using construction paper because that's what we happen to have on hand. You'll want to decide how many pop-ups you're going to create. So let's create one bench pop-up for this example. In order to do that, you're going to draw a short, straight line down. And a bench is a little bit longer than a pedestal in my first example. So I'm going to go a little bit down, and you want to try to keep them the same length. If you would like to use a ruler for this part, you can. The next step is to double check that we are on the folded side. So, yep, my lines are on the folded side. If your lines are on the open side, you want to change that before you cut. Then we're going to carefully cut those lines, trying to keep them as even as we can. And to help our pop-up work, we're going to fold this back and crease it, and then fold it open. And when you pop it up, I'm going to close it and crease it back the other way. So that way I'm creasing in both directions just to give it that nice crease. So here is the Art Museum bench. Now we want to use our pencil and draw some lines to define our space. So you could make the line that separates the floor and the wall right here at the fold. In this example, I did put it up a little bit higher, and you can see, it just gives you more floor space, and it makes it look like these pedestals are not right against the wall. They try to create that illusion that they're a little further out into the room. It is tricky to do. So for this one, we're just going to make the floor line right here, and I'm adding a second line to show the wall molding, the little floorboard, sorry. Now, everything below here is going to be your floor, so you decide what the floor space is. Now, in the art museum or art gallery, maybe it's usually wood, but this is your own space, so if you want to do a rug on the floor, if you want to do carpeting, if you want to do tile, you absolutely can do what you would like on there. For the top part, this is our wall. So the wall is going to have pictures hanging, and those pictures should be in some nice frames. You want to leave space to do the frames. I think I'm going to do a little experiment on this one by adding a doorway. Now I'm just sketching it. Well, maybe I'll make it taller. I would probably want a ruler to help me out here. All right, we're going to create a little bit of an illusion here that this, we'll give some molding around the door. This floor is maybe going to continue around the corner, and then this is going to be a hallway. And then there might even be a picture in this hallway. And if you can't quite see it yet, just hold on. All right, so then this would be a picture. And see how these go at an angle to match that angle. And so this then becomes floor as well. And I know I'm drawing very light, so I'm just going to trace with a little more heavy pressure over my lines to help you see the illusion. Now, this is just optional. It's just a way to kind of play around with it a little bit and see if we can kind of trick our eyes. So we have a room, here's a hallway that's going to go to a different room. And then you would want to start drawing picture frames. And I'm just starting to draw darker, that way it's easier for you to see. But you can add as many frames as you want. Decorate the floor, decorate and fill the walls. And then we have our little pedestal pop-up. Okay, so we've created a room. Oh, I like that illusion, that turned out good. And then this is our bench. So art museum benches typically don't have backs on them because you don't want anything that's gonna get in the way of the artwork. So the top part is the seat of the bench, and that could be colored one color. I'm gonna give a little bit of an edge over here, and then I'm gonna draw the two front legs. This space under here would be colored the floor color. And I'm just gonna add in another quick frame to make my art wall look a little more full. All right, and then you can carefully color and add your details. So let's go back to the example one. Now this one doesn't have benches, this one has pedestals. And you'll notice the pedestals are empty. So if you wanna create artwork that's gonna sit on the pedestals, what you can do is cut out little examples of three-dimensional art. And again, you know, we're drawing these flat, but I added a tab on this, so I could add some glue and I could glue this onto the pedestal. And it's flat, so it will fold up nicely and it kind of sticks out then a little bit. Okay, so you can do that. You can play around with some different shapes, different types of art, different types of sculpture. And then the last thing you'll notice, we can see through, we have some holes. We do need to add a second sheet of paper for the back, and you would go through the same steps of folding it. And for this one, you can see that now behind my pedestals is white. I'm gonna leave my pedestals white, so I don't need to do anything in that space. The bench one would be a little more tricky, and so for that, I'll just show you on the chair. See how the chair had front legs? In that opening, the chair has back legs and a little bit of the carpet. So I would have drawn and colored those details before gluing these two sheets of paper together. So I hope that gives you some ideas on your little art museum, and enjoy creating your pop-up.